A couple other people I want to introduce as well. I'll explain about what the Association of Indiana Counties is and what we do. Each of the organizations of county offices, we call them affiliates. There's an Auditors Association, a Treasurers Association, and so forth. And the president of the Treasurers Association is Nancy Marsh, and Nancy's here. Nancy's from Hendricks County. She's a former auditor and a current treasurer and a great supporter of the association. And the president of the Auditors Association is Gail Dodds, and Gail is here. She's from Davies County. She's in the back. And they'll be speaking to you tomorrow as we break those two groups out. So, but each of the affiliates has an organization, and I know many of you are new to office, but over time we certainly hope that you'll take the time to get involved in the leadership of the different associations, the Association of Indiana Counties, and the different affiliate organizations. There's plenty of opportunities for you to serve in a leadership role and to help out not only your association, but to kind of guide your association and improve the offices and the programs that they offer. Again, we're a membership organization. All the county office holders are members of the association once the county pays their dues, and I'll get to that. We're directed by a board of directors. We have an executive committee that I work with closely on some of the day-to-day operations. We have a 6-person staff, and we're going to talk a little bit about the services that we offer through the association. Here's how the board of directors is made up. Again, this is your organization. This is an organization of county elected officials. But each district, we have 6 districts in the state. Each district in the spring, we have a meeting in each district, and the office holders elect a president and a vice president, and they serve on the board of directors for 1 year. And each of the affiliate presidents and past presidents serves on the board of directors. So there's a County Commissioners Association, so the president and past president of the County Commissioners Association serve on our board, County Council Association, and so forth, and I'll talk about all the associations here in just a minute. We have a legislative committee, and the chairman of that is appointed by the president of the association, and that person serves on our board of directors as well. And the past president of the association serves on the board of directors. So our board is made up of about 35 people in total, so great representation throughout the state. We have an executive committee that consists of a president and 3 vice presidents and a treasurer, and they are selected at our annual conference through the board of directors. And there's a nominating committee that takes applications, and that committee makes a recommendation to the board of directors, and at the annual conference they're the ones who select the executive committee. So here's all the offices that we represent. I won't go through them all, but obviously there's a couple omissions there. All these offices are elected, but we do represent through our board of directors. We're trying to expand our organization a little bit and represent some of the non-elected professionals who are in the county. So the highway engineers and supervisors, they serve on our board of directors in an advisory capacity, and so to the IT directors. So those are the offices that we represent. You'll notice up there that we don't have the sheriffs up there, we don't have the prosecutors up there, or the judges. They each have their own associations, and we work closely with them, but they're not directly represented by our association. This is the current executive committee. You met Penny Lukenbill. She's the president. She's a Marshall County auditor. Jeff Quile, Morgan County Council. Al Logston is county commissioner from Spencer County. Jane Grove is the Randolph County treasurer. And Terry Rethlake is the AIC treasurer, and she's a St. Joseph County clerk. So they are the executive committee, and they have certain duties and powers a little bit broader than the board of directors. But they're all very accessible. And if you have ideas or suggestions on how you think the association needs to improve, you can get a hold of me, of course, anytime, or any of these members, and offer suggestions about how the association can improve itself or better serve you as an elected official. The executive committee exercises power on the behalf of the board of directors. They're responsible for the assets and affairs of the association. They recommend me for the position, evaluate me every year, and they recommend policy and can report to the full board of directors. But almost every action that our association takes is approved through the board of directors at some point. here's the AIC staff, and I'm going to have each of the staff people come up, kind of introduce themselves, give you a little bit of their background and what they do at the association and what services they offer to you through our association. So first I'm going to have Shauna Schwegman come up, and Shauna helped plan this event. She is our Director of Planning and Professional Development and has been with the association for about 6 years and does a fantastic job. So Shauna?
As David said, I've been here for 6 years. Basically, my role here is planning the conferences and the meetings, and also all of our educational programs. And there's a lot of affiliates that have mandated training by the state. So we do a lot of webinars and different meetings throughout the year at our organization. And so I encourage you guys to all attend those. All of the registration for those are always on our website. We do have an annual conference every year, and we have a legislative conference every year. We have district meetings. All of that information is always on our website. So just look on there and let me know if you need anything. Thank you.
Next to come up is Karen Avery. Karen is our Director of Public Relations.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. I've been with the AIC for the same amount of time as Shauna, almost 7 years. I handle a lot of the publications, the magazine that you'll receive. You all each receive, all elected officials receive that every other month. So if you're not getting your next magazine, which will be around the end of February, give me a call. You can get my information on our website, which is, by the way, www.indianacounties.org if you need that. I also handle a lot of the other publications, the fact book. I work with the auditors a lot, and I will bug you quite a bit. So I ask for your patience in advance. In January, you're going to be getting some emails from me. We're going to be in the process of updating our directory of county officials. It's really important to keep our database accurate and up to date. The state requests that information. A lot of different people use that information. So you'll get that email from me. We'll go through a couple of rounds of updating that. Then eventually I'll send it to everybody. But if we don't have your email, and if you're totally brand new to office, there's a good chance that you don't. And that means you're not going to be receiving our e-newsletters, really important information, like say we've got an issue at the State House that you need to be contacting your legislators. If we don't have your email, you won't be getting those alerts, and sometimes it might be an alert that goes out at the very last second. So go to our website, indianacounties.org. We just launched a new website a couple of weeks ago, and at the very bottom there's a new footer navigation menu. Under the About side, there's an update your contact information. So please, if you would, go up there. And we do rely on auditors to give us that information, but sometimes emails are hard to come by. So, and then in March, auditors, I'll bug you again because we'll start working on the county fact book, a lot of data that the council uses in the fall to do their budget. So I'll be sending you an email to ask you for a lot of data. So again, in advance, I appreciate your patience. And if you have any questions about PR-related issues, glad to help you out. Give me a call. Thanks.
Next is Andrew Berger. Andrew is our Director of Criminal Affairs. He's an attorney. He's our General Counsel. And he represents, he's our lead lobbyist over at the State House and does a fantastic job representing county government over there. And so I'm going to have Andrew come up and introduce himself, talk a little bit about the issues we'll be following this session.
David, good afternoon, everybody. Again, it's Andrew Berger. I see a lot of familiar faces out there, so this probably won't be a whole lot of new information for you, but for those new folks, AIC does have a very active lobbying role at the State House. This will be my 6th legislative session, working on behalf of county officials all across the state. And I mean, if you look at the, our board, our executive committee, we really do represent every corner of Indiana, Porter to Posey County, and we need that because legislators often call our office asking for very specific questions about how this works for, my county or the county that I represent. So we really do need your help to provide us with as much information as you can and to be active members on our legislative side as well as your operations side of government, because elected officials, particularly county officials, all being elected office holders, you have a very strong voice at the State House. If you look at most House of Representative seats, they're going to represent anywhere from 15 to 17,000 registered voters. Now, how many of your counties have more than that number? And it's, so you really have to think you do represent a lot of Hoosier voters. And that in and of itself gives your voice a certain weight and puts your ideas, whether you're new to the office and have new ideas, or you've been around county government a long time and have a good grasp of your county needs and county responsibilities. What your opinions are on how government, county government, state government even should operate are very important, and that's really the voice we try to convey at the State House. In addition to the board, we have a legislative committee organized a lot along the same principles. Every office has a say in that, and we try to vary it by political party and by location around the state. And that's really the ones who, or those, that committee, those elected officials are the ones who really break down each bill that we see during session. And each year, in a long session, there may be 1,000 bills filed. Probably half of those are going to deal with county government in one way or the other, primarily through the tax code. And you as auditors and treasurers should be well aware that you're going to be dealing with taxes all the time. And that is a target that is never going to stop moving, because there's always somebody, some interest somewhere that's going to have a little interest that they want to change in either property taxes or income taxes, motor vehicle excise taxes, on down the list, because county governments have a lot of, or a very large role to play in our tax code and all of our state and local operations. So if you need anything, me personally, I represent, or I work with the auditors, treasurers, and assessors. Again, taxes are usually my main focus. And Danielle's going to talk a little bit later about the offices that she relates with too. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call myself, David, or Danielle, because we are really here to help you, whether that be I've got a great idea for legislation, or you just need another opinion on what the code says, because I know that that's important too, and we're certainly here for that as well. So thank you very much. Again, congratulations. I won't be the first or the last to say that, but appreciate having you in the association.
Thanks, Andrew. And again, Andrew is an attorney, and he does work for the association. But one thing he doesn't want to get involved in are personal disputes at the county level. For instance, if one day, the commissioners want to eliminate the council for some reason, or vice versa, we're not going to give a legal opinion on that. So, yeah, no, there's no. So, our next speaker is Danielle Coulter. She's the Deputy Governmental Affairs Director.
Hi, everyone. Again, I'm Danielle Coulter, Deputy Director of Government Affairs, and I noticed that you each had this nifty handout in your packets of job descriptions of what we all do, and so I thought, just in case I forget, I'll bring this up here with me, but I think I've got a handle on it now. I'm kidding. What I do, as Andrew said, is I work over at the State House representing all of you in front of the legislature. I work primarily with the clerks, recorders, and surveyors. So I see a few familiar faces out there. And of course, I also work with auditors and treasurers on really big issues where we need additional help. In addition to that, I have been put in charge of the affiliate training. Clerks, recorders, and surveyors have already had training requirements for 3 or 4 years now. But effective starting this year, auditors and treasurers who are elected this year now have training requirements too. And with the exception of the surveyors currently, all of the training requirements are the same for all the affiliates that have training. You have to complete 15 hours of training within your first year after beginning your term, and a total of 40 within your first 3 years. And so just being here today and tomorrow, you've already knocked out 12 hours. So way to go on that. You've almost completed your requirements for your first year. So that's wonderful. You will find that information, all the training requirements and available training courses that have been approved. You will find all of that on the AIC website. It will be under the training and education menu, and the submenu is affiliate training. So be looking for that. And also, I recently started a new tab, again, under the training and education menu on our website, and it's called AIC How-Tos. And I've been trying to create tutorials for you as county officials, things that I think you might want to learn more information about. So currently what's on there are social media tutorials. If you as an elected official, or if you want to create, say, a Facebook page or a Twitter page for your office as a whole, I walk you through that step by step and provide pictures to show you how to do that. And I've also created a tutorial for how to navigate the legislature's website. There's a lot of information on there. It can be extremely overwhelming if you go on there and don't have any idea what you're searching for initially. So it's a really simple page. It's something that you can easily print off, keep next to your computer, and it'll teach you how to search for a bill, how to watch different committees in the House and Senate as they're meeting in real time. It allows you to stream that on your computer and things like that. So another thing that Andrew and I do is, in addition to the full AIC legislative committee, each affiliate association also has a legislative committee, so we work extremely closely with all of them in determining kind of the agenda for each affiliate for the upcoming session. So with that, as Andrew said, if you guys have any questions or need anything at all, please don't hesitate to contact us, and hope you have a great couple fun-filled days and get completely overwhelmed with all the information, but I'm sure you guys will do a great job as you always do, and congratulations once again. Thank you.
Our next person is Alicia Raymer. Alicia is our Director of or Finance Administrator and Business Development Coordinator. So Alicia.
Hey everyone, as David said, I'm Alicia Raymer, and I've been with the AIC for about 2 years. Still feel like I'm learning new things every day, but the main focus of my job is doing the day-to-day finances and bookkeeping for the association. On the business side of things, our vendors and our endorsed programs really support us, so I'm there to keep the lines of communication open between us and maintain those relationships. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call.
And then there, again, a great staff, and for only 6 people, we do a tremendous amount of services for county officials, we feel like. So we're there for a resource for you all, so feel free to keep in contact with us through our website or contact information that we'll go over here in a few minutes. You might want to know how the association is funded, and each year we send out a dues notice to the counties, and the county pays the dues, and then all the elected officials that we talked about are members of the association. We do, I think, a fantastic job with our dues. We've only raised our dues one time since 2002. And so we rely on a lot of other revenue resources to help us fund the association. So we can't do that forever, and every once in a while we have to raise dues, but we've gone through several years without doing that. Yep, somebody? It was based on population, and going back as far as I want to say in the 1990s, what a county's general budget was, or general expenditures was back then, a percentage of that. So it's only grown slightly since then. And once they establish that, we do a couple percentage increases every 6 or 7 years. We'll increase it, 4 or 5%, but we don't increase it every year. So, but it's really important that all the counties maintain their membership, because we count on that every year, and we certainly want to represent all 92 counties when we go to the State House. Shauna mentioned and Penny that we have this diploma training. It's called the Institute for Excellence in County Government now. And so you heard quite a few references to that in the mandatory training and the mandatory hours. We've tried to make that as easy as possible for people, because we now do that through webinars, and those are videotaped as well. It does cost money to watch those classes, but you do get credit for that, and they're usually archived for 30 days after the live event. And you'll come to learn that there's, at all these education meetings, some of the best education you're going to get is when you're sitting at a lunch table or a dinner table, or when you have a break. You're going to ask the person next to you, how do you do this or how do you do that? And you're going to get those really great answers. And because of budget constraints, we don't have the live classes anymore. We do it through webinars, so it's not quite as personal, but we do still think it's a valuable resource, and you can learn through that. And it is interactive, where people can email in questions while the event's going on and have those questions answered. So. We have our legislative conference coming up in February. I think it's actually the 17th and 18th this year. I have the 15th and 16th here, but you'll get information on that on the legislative conference. That'll be in February. And we invite all the legislators to that, and we go through several classes, offer a couple workshops there, and talk about the issues at the State House that are important to us. We have our district meetings. They'll be in May of this year. Again, that's where we talk about what happened during the session and give the county officials in the district an opportunity to elect their president and vice president. Our annual conference is in September, usually every year. This year was at the JW Marriott. Next year it's at the Belterra Resort in Switzerland County, 23rd through the 26th. We have a multitude of workshops at that event, usually 10 workshops, and we have an exhibit hall, and again, a great opportunity for camaraderie and to learn from other county officials. And then another way that we get revenue, we have a couple of programs that we actually endorse where we're a marketing partner with those programs. And so because we market them, we have marketing agreements, and we get some revenues through some of those programs where the counties sign the endorsed program vendor that we use. Nobody has to use the program provider that we have endorsed, but it's certainly an opportunity for you to do that. So, again, the services we talked about, the professional development, the webinars, the learning. Again, we advocate for county government at the State House and in the U.S. Congress. And Andrew touched on this, but I do want to mention that when it comes time for us to influence a legislator or something at the State House, you're our best lobbyist. I know a lot of people have that negative thought when they hear the word lobbyist or government advocate, whatever you want to say. But your legislators are going to want to hear from you directly on how a bill affects your county or the taxpayers in your county or your office. Andrew and I and Danielle and Sean is a registered lobbyist too. When we're at the State House, we're 4 of 400 people over there running around. And they all know us. But when it's somebody that can vote for them back in the district, or somebody who can advocate on their behalf, or maybe advocate against them if they're not supporting local government, you're going to get those calls from us, and we're going to ask you or email you to say, can you call Representative so-and-so tonight? We have this bill in committee tomorrow. We really need it to be passed, and we certainly urge you to call your legislator and ask them to support it. Now, there may be some times when we have a policy that you particularly don't support, and we certainly understand that. Nobody has to mandate something against their wishes, but I hope if we run into those situations, you don't, get upset with the association because you disagree with one position we've taken out of 300 or 400 bills that we're going to follow throughout the session. So, also on that issue, you're going to have thoughts and ideas that you want to have done, or that after you get in the office for a couple months, you might say, boy, it'd be nice if we could do it this way or that way. And before you call your legislator and ask them that question to make that change in statute, I'd really encourage you to talk to the other elected officials in your county, the members of your affiliate, or contact the AIC, because there's a lot of statutes we don't agree with, but there's a lot of them that they may not be perfect, but it's the best situation we have. So again, we want you to talk to your legislators about county government, but if you have suggestions on changes in statute, we encourage you to talk to the other elected officials in your county, and again, the other affiliates. Karen mentioned these resources that we publish, and she does a fantastic job with this. We have the News 92 magazine. It's printed 6 times a year. We feature a county on the cover of that every 2 months. And Karen has a list of the counties that we have used recently, and so at some point she may call some of the counties that we haven't used on the cover and ask you to help us get some information on the county for the magazine. She mentioned the fact book we do. The auditors provide a lot of that data. At budget time, the commissioners and council use that as a resource to try to find out what their budget is compared to other similar-sized counties. And so we collect all that data for the number of employees, total appropriations, salaries. All that information is available through the fact book. We have a directory of county officials. Again, she mentioned that. We'll be wanting all your contact information, and so that other county officials can contact you if they have questions. We have a directory of county resources, and what that is, we have businesses that join the association as associate members, and so they're usually companies, obviously, that kind of have a niche with county government somehow. So if you wanted to change printers, or you wanted to change software companies, you didn't know who all was out there, we have this book of county resources that we can provide. That information's on our website, but we also send a couple books out to the county, usually to the auditor and the president of the commissioners, so they have that resource available to them. Again, just kind of a clearinghouse of information. We do this for legislators and an organization called Legislative Services Agency, or LSA, at the State House. Whenever somebody introduces a bill that affects county government, LSA usually calls us and says, can you help us collect the data on what a county charges for 911 fees? Or can you call and find out how many employees the health departments have? Just things like that. So if we don't have it collected already, we'll be contacting the counties and asking them to submit that data. And it's really critical because you want legislators to make decisions based on the best available data and not just hearsay or something they've heard about in their county or the next county over. So we do provide that information to legislators and the other counties as well. Again, talked a little bit about the endorsed programs. And then another organization that we work closely with, and not every county is a member of NACO. NACO is the National Association of Counties. There's about 67 counties in Indiana that are members of NACO, and they do kind of what we do at the federal level. And they do a tremendous job. They help us a lot with federal election law, which is always changing. And they're doing a great job keeping us informed on this fiscal cliff situation. And I know you've been hearing about that since Election Day, but a lot of the programs that have the automatic cuts starting in January 2nd could affect county government. And so they're keeping an eye on that and trying to inform county officials about what cuts may happen so that, again, you can contact your members of Congress and talk about those issues. A couple of our programs through NACO, and probably our most popular program that we work with is this. It's a drug prescription discount card program. And this program is not just for county employees. If a county signs up for this program, every person who lives in the county can get a card, a discount card, and it's good at virtually every pharmacy throughout the county. And it gets them about a 20 to 24% discount on the price of pharmacies if they don't have insurance. If they have insurance, they can use the card as well, but usually if somebody has health insurance, the card is better. But I know Nancy Marsh is here. Her county uses it. Indiana uses this card more than any other state in the country, including California and Florida. It's probably one of the most popular programs we have because it helps taxpayers. And then recently, NACO has changed the program so that if the county chooses to, every time the card is used, the county general fund can get $1. And then you can use that money to pay your dues for NACO. The county does not have to take $1, but it's an option you have out there. So if your county is not using the program or you'd like to, let us know. I'd be happy to come out and do a presentation. There's a lot of counties who have had the program, and because we have turnover in the offices, it's kind of languished, and maybe you need to order new cards or make sure that you get these cards out to your township trustees so they can give them to people who need assistance. You can give these cards. NACO will mail these cards directly to churches or hospitals or food shelters, wherever you want, so that make sure those cards get out in the hands of the people who need them. And then a lot of counties have them sitting right on the counter at the auditor's or treasurer's office. So it's a great resource. The card says, Rush County uses it. It'll say Rush County discount card. They know it's the county officials who are helping taxpayers out with this savings. So it's a great program. U.S. Communities, the company that does purchasing for a lot of counties. It's called U.S. Communities. It's independent stationers. And this is a national contract, actually, where what they do is go to bid. And I think for office supplies, they used L.A. County, California, to do the bid. And so the contract is set up that no county in the country can be charged more for office supplies than what L.A. County's being charged in California. So you don't have to use the service. It's just a service that's available. We certainly understand you want to use local vendors whenever you have the chance, but this is just a resource that if you want to use it, you can. And what's so unique about this, Independent Stationers is actually located in Carmel, Indiana. And so it's a locally based organization, and they represent a lot of independent, small stationery companies or paper companies. So there may be some companies in your county that are members of this organization that you can use to get the discount. And even if you don't want to buy through this, you can often take the pricing to whoever you're buying from now, and they'll match it for you, or they'll get closer if they know you're going to save money someplace else. So another program through NACO. Something else through NACO you may want to get involved in eventually is they have national affiliates. So there's a national, it's not called the Treasurers Association, but it's finance officers and treasurers. For clerks and recorders, there's national organizations as well. So that's something else you may want to look into. And we have one board member on NACO. It's Kent Ward, the Hamilton County surveyor. So, again, while we exist, we're there to support you so that you can better serve taxpayers. That's kind of the motto we have. And so we want to, again, make sure you have a successful tenure as a county official, and you want to be there as a resource to give you all the options so that you can make the best decision on behalf of taxpayers. Our success as an association is based on your involvement and your success. So that's our website at indianacounties.org. Again, Karen mentioned there's an opportunity on there for you to go in and update your information to make sure we can email you and contact you with all the publications we do. And then we have a Facebook and a Twitter account as well if anybody follows Facebook or Twitter. So before our next speaker, and plus we've been sitting for about 60 minutes almost, but one of the things as an elected official you're going to get to know is the other people who can help you out. So we want to take just a brief minute, and I know it's going to seem like it's going to take a long time, but I'd like really for each of you to stand up, introduce yourself, the office you have, just tell us a little bit about yourself so that we can start to identify you with your office in your county, and that other people in the room can start to identify you as well. So I'm going to start with Councilman Berger from Vigo County in the back. He called me yesterday, wanted to know if he could attend this meeting, and I just have to say this. He gave a great quote. He said, I want to get involved, and he said, I'm going to be the best county councilman in the state of Indiana. I certainly hope all of you have that attitude as going forward here and serving the taxpayers of Indiana. So